Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by ZenunalawFirm.com is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 134.4 pounds. Fighting out of the south side of San Antonio, Texas, tonight, he looks for his 3rd win as an amateur. Here is Ryan Perez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he weighed in at 133.8 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, tonight, he makes his amateur debut. This is Manuel Hernandez. Your referee in charge, John Shorley.
Do y'all have him on? Is he on y'all's? It's extremely loud down here.
All right, here we go. Second fight.
All right, Hernandez in the red gloves in the southpaw stance. Perez in the blue gloves, standing orthodox. Pretty cool from Hernandez. A side kick. He's got a good bounce to his style. Looks like he's got a really heavy dose of traditional martial arts in his striking.
It's a really good frame for a 135er.
And I noticed when he came out there,
that was a good high kick. That high kick hurt him. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, and now Perez is going to put that experience to use now and tie him up.
and I noticed he already had a pretty good sweat on him whenever he came out also. And so you got to wonder if he wanted to be a little sweaty whenever he came out here in case he's grappling. He started early.
I'll tell you, Hernandez, from that open stance, had a really nice body kick. And then they kind of moved out of range, and then he threw the same style kick, but upstairs. And Perez's hands were up, but it got through the guard, and it clipped him right in the side of his head. We could hear it. There's nothing quite like a bone-on-bone impact sound. And then Perez was like, all right, it's time to wrestle. As he not only gets him down, but he's almost in full mount. He hands off a wrist ride.
Yeah, first time out there for Hernandez. His coaching staff is also, learning how to coach him in the heat of the moment, right? Like they were pleading with him, go after that kick connected, go, go, go.
The head commissioner also went up to him and said, hey, you got to stop banging on the apron.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, sorry. Which is good because that echoes through our mics, so I'm kind of glad they got that one under wraps. See, and this is like you were saying, Mike, with the full 15 rounds of experience, Perez, he's spent, many rounds, many minutes here. And so this is a pace, something he's very familiar with. And I'll never forget my first time going past the first round, my first time wrestling hard in the clinch. It's certainly a new experience.
And what is that difference? Because there are hard sparring days at the gym. You do take smokers as well, right? Like you get that, like almost that taste of it, but what changes so much here?
Oh, nice spinning back kick right to the liver. Man, I tell you, I like Hernandez's striking. Another high kick. Perez shoots through it. He's in a bit of an arm and gilly now. We'll see if Hernandez chooses to sprawl on it or go for the gilly. But so the smoker fights help because you get to feel the intensity. But there's nothing quite like having the 4-ounce gloves. What I always tell people is anytime I did a jiu-jitsu tournament or a super fight or even a boxing or kickboxing match, that kind of feels like a sport. The 4-ounce glove in the cage, it feels like a fight. It's a different type of feeling, I think, because there's more at risk. And like beyond that, you got your shirt off, you got to do your weight cut, you got to do your warm-ups. The arenas are usually very
all
cold.
Eyes on you as well.
Yeah,
making the walk.
The pressure's different.
Yeah.
It is a different animal. It really is.
Okay, good first round. Good, showing from both guys. So let's take a look at these highlights and just see.
Honestly, man, I think Hernandez, I don't know if he won the round, but he did more damage. I don't know what these judges exactly are looking for. But if I'm a judge under modern judging criteria, I give this round to Hernandez for the damage done. He landed the 3 big head kicks, the spinning back kick right there. It was a close round. It was a good round. But again, that head kick connected. He did good work with the few strikes that he threw.
Don't forget, we're going to be on UFC Fight Pass at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Fury FC 102. Yanez versus Rosas for the vacant 135 title.
Yeah, I feel like we've watched Yanez fight and win so many times. I'm glad to see him with the title opportunity.
And he really wanted this fight. He's like, let's do it. Yeah, that's a very, popular name in MMA right now, the Rosas family. He wanted Jesse, and he's going to get him.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, the fact that he's fighting Jesse Rosas, but also, I mean, that bantamweight title seems to be the golden ticket to the next level.
Absolutely.
It's the people who have carried that strap have only carried it for a few days. They've gone to the next level. So happy for all those guys, but looking forward to seeing John Yanez and Jesse Rosas get after it in the main event today.
I'd be curious that maybe the front kicking arsenal of Hernandez, because Perez is kind of like showing a lot of level changes. Usually the traditional style strikers have good just kind of front kicks right up the center line. And you just notice the way Hernandez can, right there, that's the front kicks I'm talking about. Those are big deterrents to keep guys from shooting.
And Hernandez at 21 years old with no fights looks like a very savvy striker. Looks very comfortable in there.
Yeah, wasting no energy.
We can also see that Ryan Perez has noticed that also, because he's trying desperately to get this fight to the floor.
That might be the next evolution for Ryan Perez as well. You can wrestle. You can get guys up against the cage. Chain it together. Let's see if there's a finish out there, right? Going the distance in every single fight, trying to figure out that in his amateur career will definitely be a goal.
Yeah, Perez has good striking as well, but I mean he's just fighting a bit of a ranged specialist right now in Hernandez.
Yeah, very tall, very big for the weight class. 5'10", 135. You just don't see many of those. Long legs, long limbs. Really smooth striking.
Away. Very well thrown spinning heel kick there.
Under 1 minute left in round 2.
Good straight punches though from Perez.
Yeah, Perez doing a good job of throwing punches before he goes in for the takedown. Before he changes levels, he's throwing punches, he's putting something up in his face. He's doing everything right here. It's just, man, it's really difficult to beat on, it looks like.
Yeah, the way you beat these guys is you just stifle their range. You just pressure them like your life depends on it. The highest level of this style beaten with pressure is to watch Nicky Holskin versus Raymond Daniels. Raymond Daniels, one of the best strikers with spins and 360 KOs and side kicks. And Nicky Holskin, one of the best kickboxers to ever walk the earth, just gets in his face and walks him down and gets the job done. It's a very dangerous style to fight too. So that round was, interestingly, Perez had less control time, but also got hit less. So in my opinion, that round was a little harder to score than round 1.
Yeah, in round 2, Perez did a good job of keeping distance and then closing the distance really fast. So you're right, it didn't take a lot of damage, but not able to do a lot also. But
yeah, neither guy landed a lot. So if it does come down to pressure, I think Perez maybe takes that round. I've noticed a big change in Houston. It seems like Houston's taken a really cool approach, really modernizing the judging, taking notes and communicating. From what I hear, I think it's from one of the judges, Brian Thompson. He just seems to be like really revolutionizing just like the education and teamwork of the officials, which is so cool to see. But like even when we were in Dallas this weekend, it was great fights. But like there were some control time judges, so I think it kind of depends on what crop of judges do you get.
All right, here we go, round 3.
Because, as a competitor, I do a lot of research on, like, what are the judges looking for? Or, like, what are the rules? And they say damage. Damage is really the only thing you judge. It's if there's no damage, then you go to takedowns and control time. And then if that's not there, then you go to cage pressure. And, like, that is it. It's like there was one fight where Derek Lewis punched Roy Nelson one time hard, but then Roy Nelson held him on the cage, and Derek Lewis wins the decision. And I agreed with it, despite him being controlled a lot, but he did do the damaging shots. Even my guy, Alan Gonzalez, in his last fight against James Ramon, he hits Ramon with a huge right hand that busts his eye open, then gets taken down and held down for like 2.5 minutes. But Alan did all the damage, and I was glad to see the judges get that right. So
that should be a lesson for all the fighters that, you know, they really do care about that.
Yeah, we've even won 2 fights in recently close decisions where our guys threw punches on bottom. One of our guys threw elbows to the guy's thigh, but it was the only strikes thrown, so they gave him the round, as you know, they kind of should have.
And anybody taking a punch from Derek Lewis that survives should consider that a win in itself.
Yeah, that's true. It was like a monstrous uppercut, too.
Yeah.
It was a bad one, dude.
See if Hernandez can figure this out with half the round remaining.
Yeah, and something like this, I mean, with 1 minute and 18 seconds left, something like this can cost you a round. So, you know, I would say if the round ended right now, that last exchange might have won that round for Perez, and then, you know, even what he's doing here.
Yeah.
So Hernandez needs to be aware of that. His coaches need to be telling him to get out of there and start doing some damage.
I personally think it's 1-1 going into 3. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter what we think, but
Yeah.
still, like, I mean, even if I'm coaching, all that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to try to hand them a scorecard and see if they take it. Just tear a piece of paper off. And I don't know if we've talked about it yet, guys, but this arena, Boeing Center at Techport Arena, this is one of the nicest and, you know, best venues that we do shows in. Really, really cool venue. If you get a chance to see a show here, you should definitely come here.
Yeah, make sure you follow us at Fury Fighting. You'll see pictures from tonight. It is beautiful. We're going to be sharing all sorts of content from it. But it is one of the best arenas, not only to be here, but to drive here as well. It's really cool. Awesome, awesome stuff they built here in the city of San Antonio. 10 seconds left in this fight.
Yeah,
Perez.
This is our 3rd time here. So, again, nothing really happened in this round. So, since there was no damage, you go to, like, effective wrestling and grappling, which, again, there wasn't. But then you go to cage control, and Perez had the cage control. In my opinion, this is a 29-28 Perez fight. Could be 30-27, but I do think Perez did do enough, albeit narrowly, to perhaps win this decision. We'll see what these judges say in just a moment.
Yeah, and again, when Manuel Hernandez making his debut, I mean, this should be a lesson for him that, you know, activity, he's got to up his activity. When he's not landing, he's got to throw, you know, bigger combinations, things like that. That, I mean, because it's so razor thin the way these rounds went. I mean, it could have easily gone his way with a couple more exchanges.
See the beautiful Boeing Techport Arena. Crowd is starting to fill it up here. Just on our 2nd fight, good showing so far, and I'm telling you, once that main card starts at 8:30 p.m., this crowd is going to be ready. There are a lot of great fights tonight. 2 titles on the line on our prelims broadcast. We've got the bantamweight title on the line, the vacant bantamweight title at in our main broadcast coming up at 8:30 p.m. So a lot of champions to be decided here. Let's see how the judges scored this one. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by DeNunoLawFirm.com. Judge Angel Mendez scores the fight 29-28 Hernandez. Judge Wilfredo Esperoza scores the fight 30-27 Perez. And Judge Joe Calvi scored the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by split decision, Manuel Hernandez.
All right, congratulations to Manuel Hernandez. They do seem to be favoring the damage, the strikes thrown. Interesting set of information to start the fights off tonight. I don't necessarily disagree either. It's just interesting to see the criteria that they are paying attention to. Maybe they are up to date and they're just solely basing it off damage. Pretty cool.
Wow.